Hey, we are back in the kitchen of the Jennings Brown House, which is part of the Marlboro County Museum Complex. Today we are going to be making and talking about salt dough ornaments. Now, people have been making salt dough ornaments for many years. They go back to Egyptian times. They were very popular in Europe, particularly in Germany a long time ago, and when Europeans started immigrating to the United States, one of the things that they brought with them was their salt dough ornaments. They were very easy to make. They just used a few simple ingredients that people would have had on hand. Flour, salt, and water. So here is how you would put them together. You start with your all-purpose flour, and we are going to use a recipe that calls for 1 cup of flour and 1/4 cup of salt. Now you could, of course, increase that recipe if you wanted to, and you would just make sure that the ratio was the same. So, I have a little trouble here, but we're going to get it together. This is 1/2 cup. And another 1/2. Now we'll just put this to the side. And now we want 1/4 cup of salt. And there we go. Now the recipe calls for about 1/2 cup of water, but you want to add it slowly because there's a chance that it won't take quite that much. You want the dough to be kind of maybe the consistency of a biscuit dough. So we'll just stir that together and see if that's right. Now once we get the dough together, we'll turn it out onto a flour surface, which is going to be our cutting board here, and then we'll roll it out. As I was reading about these salt dough ornaments, I read that the popularity of these kind of grew and exploded in the 1970s and 1980s. And that is certainly how and when I became aware of them. I'm going to grab the flour here. My Aunt Joy was an extremely entertaining person, and she was also a very talented crafter. People who lived here for a long time will probably remember that she had big craft shows at her house the Saturday after Thanksgiving every year. People would come, from out of town to come to her shows, and she would just have on display crafts that she had made throughout the year. She kind of experimented and had different things at different years. Everything from stenciled items to applique items. She made grapevine wreaths. She really just kind of did a little bit of everything. And as I got older, she allowed me to help her with all of this stuff, which is why I now know how to do random things like candle wicking. I have my Aunt Joy to thank for that. And one of the things that she did was these salt dough ornaments. So we've got that together. We'll just get a little bit more flour. It's going to be kind of sticky. And so you just, you work a little bit of extra flour into it and knead it a little bit. Anytime you mess with flour, of course, it's a little bit messy, but it's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that I know that I enjoy doing as a kid, and probably your kids and grandchildren would enjoy it too. So just a little bit more flour. Yeah, that seems about right. And now we'll just roll it out. And now you want to roll it out to about a 1/4 inch thickness, I guess. Really, whatever your preference is, but that tends to be kind of the standard that people use. So we'll just roll it out. This is a small batch that I make, and you could certainly, as I said, make a larger batch and just make sure that you still have that, the same ratio, which we're using 1 cup of flour to 1/4 cup of salt, so you would just want to make sure that your ratio was the same. Now that we have it rolled out, the next thing that we're going to do is use cookie cutters to make designs. Now the cookie cutters that I'm using are just Christmas designs. We have a little snowman here. We have a Christmas tree. star. And then we're also going to do something a little different. We're just going to do 2 round ones, and I'll show you. You'll see why in a little bit. If you wanted to, you could also get really creative and make your own shapes, which is what my Aunt Joy always used to do. One thing that you could do is take ropes, roll ropes of the dough out, and then twist them together and make them into a shape of a candy cane, like I've done here. This one has already been shaped and dried. So we have our ornaments, and then the next thing that you want to do is take a straw, or this is a piece of a skewer, and make a hole somewhere in the top of the ornament, because you will be running a piece of twine or ribbon or something through it so that you can hang them in the tree. So we'll go ahead and make some holes here. So we have our shapes here. We have our snowman, our Christmas tree, our star, and then the 2 circles that we're going to do something special with. We have used a skewer to make holes in them so that we can attach some sort of hanging device, either wire or ribbon, or in the case of what we're going to do today, twine. So the next step is to dry them out, and there's a couple of ways you can do that. The old-fashioned way that my Aunt Joy and I always did was cooking them, baking them in a slow oven, maybe about 200 degrees for 5 hours, something like that. But I recently learned that you can do it in the microwave instead, and anything that's quicker and easier, I'm all about that, and I do love my microwave, so that's the way we're going to do these. You just put them in a microwave-safe plate and cook them for about 20 seconds, and then 10 to 20 second increments until they're hard. So here they are, nice and dry, and the next step is the fun part. That's when you get to decorate them. So we have our ornaments here. They have been cut out, they have been dried in the microwave, so they are now ready to decorate. If we wanted to, we could leave them plain. If we were going for more of a natural look, you know, we could just use them like this. Or we could decorate them. You can use hot glue to glue buttons or whatever sorts of decorations you want to add to them. Or you could just paint them using just this simple acrylic craft paint that you can get in any store. And that's what we're going to do today. So we've created a little palette for our paint. It's just in a styrofoam plate. We squirted a little bit of the different colors out, and we are painting our ornaments. I'm working in the candy cane now. We've got the red part of it done, and now we are working on the white part. So this is just, you know, this is a chance to just be creative and experiment and have fun with it. It's a lot like, you know, decorating sugar cookies this time of year. Okay, so once the paint has dried, you want to seal them. And you would do that with some sort of a craft varnish, like a Mod Podge or something that you would either spray or paint on them, a clear varnish. When that dries, they are good to go. You know, you can keep them for decades. If you wanted to, you could use some of the silica gel packs, like the ones that come in shoe boxes. Just put them in the storage box with your ornaments to take care of any moisture problems that you might have. And you know, you keep them as long as you want to keep them that way. Once they are sealed and that is dried, then you want to hang them. And we chose to just use simple twine. You could use ribbon, wire, whatever you wanted to use. We had twine on hand, so that's why we're using that. But you know, you just create a little loop of twine. Here's the candy cane that we made. Here is our cute little snowman. I think he's my favorite. Our star, and we'll run some wire into the Christmas tree and be done with this one. So, you know, like I said, you run the twine through the hole and then just tie it, and you have a handy little hanger for your ornaments. Now, the one that, remember in the beginning when we just cut out the plain circles and made the holes in them, I saw this online the other day and I thought it was really cute, so I wanted to try it. Here is a kind of fun take on a snowman. He's kind of in pieces, and he is put together with the wire. He's got his little carrot nose and his coal eyes and coal buttons, and I think he is really cute. So that is how you make soft dough ornaments. It's a fun thing to do. It doesn't have to be limited to Christmas. You could, you know, any kind of design that you could imagine you can do with soft dough. So I hope you enjoy it.